And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. For tonight's podcast episode, I have Charlie with me. So hello to everybody.
Hello, John. Tonight's the night, finally.
Tonight's the night, and it's always going to be the night because tonight is the night that we're going to review Dexter. And that's right. This is actually our the Dark Passenger at Dexter Morgan after show. So guys, it's been a while. It's been 7 months. I can't believe it's been 7 months, man. We were just talking about that in the green room, a matter of fact, when we were talking about that. And it's just nuts that 7 months has passed since we've done the first first 3 seasons, right? Or no, first two.
First two. We're doing season 3 tonight, so it'd be about 7 months.
Exactly.
And don't worry, fans. We told you, kind of like, we didn't forget about you guys for Dexter. We were gonna continue it. We're doing it all the way up, and then we're gonna be covering the new season. So just because we finished season 8 doesn't mean we got a bad taste in our mouth, and we'll get to that when we cover season 8. We want to finish it off strong, and that's why hopefully we're excited for the new Dexter season 9. So hopefully it's better. Hopefully,
cross his fingers and toes that this last season that we're gonna get, or hopefully more Dexter we're gonna get, is gonna be great. So with that being said, let's go on ahead, dive in. We're gonna do some recaps first, and then after the recaps of the first 2 seasons, then we're gonna dive into season 3. We're just trying to catch you guys up and everything for those of you who have listened to us 7 months ago. And so that way you guys can catch up on season 3 right now with us now. So with that being said, when we got first introduced to Dexter in season 1, he was dealing with a lot of stuff. You wind up having a serial killer who happens to be an ice truck killer show up. And matter of fact, each season has a different killer on each episode. And basically, they're trying to track down this ice truck killer. You also have Deb, who has a really bad potty mouth, which is actually Dexter's sister. Dexter's sister has a really bad daddy issues and stuff like that. The serial killer is also using using the body parts in different areas in Dexter's life that nobody knows about other than Dexter and Harry and the whole entire Morgan family. And as a matter of fact, the body parts are on old street signs and stuff like that, pretty much from back in the day when Dexter was young. And, throughout time, those street signs are not going to be there anymore. Those landmarks are not going to be there anymore because they update certain things after a while. And that's exactly what happens. He puts them in old locations and stuff like that. So they wind up tracking down the ice truck killer. And then it turns out, too, that it winds up being Dexter's brother. Dexter's brother goes by a guy named Brian Moser, who's actually Dexter's real biological brother. But he goes by an alias of Rudy Cooper, who happens to be into plastic surgery and things like that. And also, too, he's also has an obsession with ice and knows how to kill people. And that's, of course, why they call him the ice truck killer. But also, too, he comes into Dexter's life whenever he really doesn't have any friends. Dexter doesn't really trust anybody. So Dexter winds up relying on Rudy as a person that he can trust. And what winds up happening is he winds up finding, of course, that Dexter is his brother, and Dexter finds out that Rudy's his brother. And then we wind up having the whole fact that Deb winds up almost getting engaged to the ice truck killer. He winds up testing Dexter by putting another person out on the table for him to kill. Dexter doesn't do it because he doesn't kill innocents or anything like that. He kills somebody. He kills people that are actually corrupt, or another serial killer that just kills for the sake of killing. So he has a little bit of a code, which is the code that Harry gives him. And then, of course, like I mentioned, he doesn't wind up killing the guy that's on the table or anything like that. That also makes Rudy question Dexter's motives as to why he doesn't do what he does and everything on that same level as Rudy does. So then, of course, you wind up having that whole entire tug-of-war thing out on the boat where they're both trading punches and everything. And then you wind up finding out, then after that, he winds up killing, he knocks out Rudy. And then he puts, there's other stuff that winds up happening before that. But what winds up happening is this. He winds up knocking Rudy out and everything. And, of course, you think that that's the end of it after that, right? But no, that's not it. That's not what happened. He winds up escaping. And he winds up thinking that Deb's asleep in Dexter's room that she's actually staying in, because she's staying in his apartment. And it turns out it was just a bunch of pillows. Dexter winds up stabbing him stabbing him with the stabbing him with the injection, and then that's when we wind up having Rudy being laid out on the on the on the same type of mechanism that he does killing other people by draining their blood out of them. So he winds up putting him up on the table and everything. He winds up killing him. Then it goes into the whole thing through season 2.
Yeah. So to fill in some other details, in case anybody is new to this, Dexter is a blood splatter expert. He's an analyst for the Miami Metro PD. We said that right. You're not wrong. He's a serial killer that only kills people that deserve it. But he's a blood analyst. So he's playing a deep end in this one. So he finds a girl that is kind of like messed up like him. I think it was because Debs helped him out. And Rita, he meets Rita, who's the mother of 2 kids, Aster and Cody. Her husband, Paul, is in jail due to drug-related crimes, and he suddenly gets brought back into the fold. He's like, hey, yeah, I'm back. I want to say hi to my kids. Rita wasn't having it. And then Paul is doing something. He's like, and Dexter's not trusting of him. Dexter knocks his ass out with a pan and drags him and puts him back in jail by making him touch marijuana or drugs. And then he says, Rita, look for the shoe. And the shoe is what Rita finds at the end of the season. And that's what begins Rita not trusting Dexter. We'll get in that sec. To more details on Rudy, he's a prosthetics expert. Because he cuts off limbs, and one of the guys Dexter finds is in the he's in this warehouse, and instead of catching Rudy, he saves the guy, or I think he helps Deb find the guy. And Deb actually isn't a cop yet. She works in Vice. She's like a prostitute on the street, something like that. And then she gets her badge. There's other characters involved. LaGuardia, she's horrible. We're not gonna focus on her. She's got a serious anger issue against Deb for no reason.
Masuka, and then you have Angel.
Yeah, Masuka. Yeah. He works in he's kind of like he's like an expert, like an analyst, like Dexter is in terms of the crime scene stuff. He's very sex crazed. If we have to compare him, he's got kind of like a weird quagmire. He's always doing dirty stuff. So anyway, Dexter finds Rudy, and of course Deb cussing. She's got relationship problems. She ends up dating Rudy for a while. She loves him, and then Rudy's got this industrial sized freezer in his apartment, which is why he's able to keep the blood frozen. That's how he's able to keep his bodies fresh, hence the ice truck killer aspect to it. So towards the end of it, Rudy finds out about Deb, and Deb finds out about Rudy on a boat. Rudy drugs Deb, and Deb's the one that Rudy wants Dexter to kill. Dexter couldn't kill him, and then when Rudy takes over, Dexter stops him. Deb wakes up, and so that's when that leads to the struggle in this like apartment area. I think it's not an apartment building; it's kind of like a warehouse. So Rudy escapes, and Deb is like that. And James Stokes, Sergeant Stokes, who I'll get to in a sec. Stokes, he's got a serious hard on for Dexter. Like he's like, what the fuck, Morgan? Like it sums up with you. He's like always dropping like surprise motherfucker. Like he's dropping the MFs like crazy. Like he knows something's up with Dexter because he sees Dexter going back to this kind of like in this Port of Los Angeles kind of thing where a lot of because Dexter's looking into his past because his real mother, Laura Moser, was brutally murdered right in front of him. So like when Harry found him, he was in a pit of blood like all over the place, and that's how both Morgan, Brian and Dexter, they're effed up in the head. They got some serious issues because they witnessed their mom getting chainsawed, literally. Luckily, the show doesn't show much of that sequence, but it's pretty vividly because it's so like what makes Dexter want to look into this is because there's a crime scene that was very reminiscent of how his mom was brutally murdered. This whole hotel room. This is pretty disturbing stuff. This whole apartment room is filled with blood. So that makes Dexter pass out and he falls into the blood. and because usually, because in the first season one, he's pretty good in the head, but yet he faints on blood, and then Dokes is like, what the f's wrong with you, Morgan, or whatever. So anyway, Dexter, as what John said, Dexter tricks Rudy, injects him in the syringe in the syringe in his apartment building. He injects him, and anytime when you inject somebody, you're like, yeah, he's finally getting the bad guy. And then that literally leads to Dexter killing Rudy, making it look like a suicide, and that really affected Dexter. Going into season 2 now, I'm pretty sure I think we covered everything in season 1. Did we, John?
Yeah, we definitely did. And just to clear one small thing up, it wasn't the marijuana that Dexter makes Paul touch. It was actually, he hooked him up to an IV, to a syringe, to make it look like that he was high on heroin.
That's what it was. Yeah, heroin.
Yeah, because if it was weed or whatever, it's a big deal, but it's not as hard as what heroin is. Yeah, which is big. It's a big deal. Mm-hmm. A bigger deal than what weed is. So so therefore he would actually do more time to me for doing that versus doing weed. But but I just wanted to clear that one little small thing up. But no, we touched on everything that was needed to be touched on for season 1. So going ahead with your season 2 recap, and then we'll do season 3.
Yeah. So if anybody comes in with other details from season 1, please make sure to put it in the chat. And don't be to quote Deadpool. Don't be if you make fun of us or whatever. That's a total dick move. Because we know Dexter. We have him on speed dial. We'll get him for you. Anyway, so season 2, yay! Now we're on to season 2, which is, I think, is personally one of the least favorite seasons of me, because going into this season, I was dreading it because it's very makes you really angry in a lot of stuff. And I'm like, okay, so anyway, starts out Dexter, he's seriously messed up right now, not physically, mentally, because he just killed his brother. So he has the yips in terms of killing people. So he's trying to track this one guy down that that I think this big guy, he's like a big brute kind of a guy that he's trying to track down early on. He couldn't do it. He injected him, and then he struggled to kill him. The guy escapes, and he ends up killing somebody else, an innocent person. So Dexter's done that. So Dexter's dealing with that. And the other thing too is how Dexter disposes of his bodies. He chops them up, puts them in a disposable garbage bag, and throws them in the ocean with his boat. The slice of life. Kind of ironic, isn't it? It's called a slice of life. So anyway, Dexter follows his code because he almost got caught early on. Another point, season 1, he almost got caught after he killed this husband and wife, and this little boy saw him. So he was worried the whole time that he got caught, but no, luckily the kid drew a picture of a Jesus in a sense. So luckily, Dexter is really meticulous in it, but sometimes he gets kind of a little bit sloppy, and that's what leads to them get caught. So anyway, bunch of divers in the middle of the ocean, they find all these bodies. And Dexter sees this on TV, and Deb's like, holy shit, we got another one. And so this is going to help me get my badge, my detective's badge or whatever. In case you're wondering, hey, what's going on with Deb? She's got relationship problems easily. Seriously, she's not trusting of people. She's very on the edge. She's like a drug addict. She's like, oh, don't touch me. She's got a very personal life. She has some very mental and physical issues. And then various times, some cop is going up, some photographers get on her. She sucker punches him. So she's very, very touchy. And so she's working out intensively that she's always working out. She's trying to get back into shape. So she can't really trust anybody in dating. And I think, Rita's trying to take her out and stuff. So Deb's going through some stuff, and hence relationship issues. And is the cussing just about as bad? Yeah, she's cussing, dropping F-bombs more often in this one. So anyway, Deb watches, she's been staying with Dexter at his apartment. So anyway, they see that Dexter realizes, oh shit, I'm effed, pretty much, because they find his bodies, and it's 17 of them or whatever. So. And that leads to bringing in Special Agent Lundy, who's a top-notch FBI guy that's come in to investigate because this is a huge serial killing because Dexter's killed so many people. So So that he's in there, and then also Dexter's got relationship issues with Rita because Rita finds out Dexter's been lying to her about because of course because about what happened to Paul, and she's like kind of like Paul's like, hey, call this lawyer, I can help you, and then I think or some of that nature. And he's like,
oh, sorry, didn't mean to
yeah,
interrupt.
go ahead.
But yeah, that's also too when of course Paul calls Rita up. And he's like, look, have you seen a shoe? Because my shoe is missing. And that's what's going to help me prove my innocence. And Rita thinks that he's just high off his ass and everything like he always is usually. And she's like, no, I'm not going to go on ahead and help you. You did this to yourself. You're the one who got high on the syringe and everything. You're the one who got high on heroin again. I'm not going to help you. What makes you think I'm going to help you? Mm-hmm. And Paul goes, look, you have to listen to me. I'm innocent. He goes, no, you're not innocent. And then it's not until like later on when she does find his shoe that she calls him back up and goes, look, I think I can help you. There's a lawyer that I can help get you some help. And that's where I'm going to leave you off after that.
Yeah. So Rita finds the shoe and she begins questioning Dexter after kind of Rita's like told Paul, no, I'm not helping you. Paul, take a guess. He dies. Because he gets in a prison fight because he's depressed because he realizes, oh yeah, my wife's not helping me anymore, and so Rita confronts Dexter, and he missed the setting Paul up because Dexter's the honest kind of guy on this one. But after claiming it was a spontaneous act, he cannot explain why he happened to be carrying heroin. Rita thinks like Dexter's hiding something. Yeah, no shit. Of course he's hiding something, but not something he wants to hide. She thinks he's a drug addict like Paul. So what is the thing that Rita forces Dexter to do? Go to Narcotics Anonymous because that is the situation to fix Dexter. Yeah, Rita, I think you effed up there because Dexter's been lying. Like, I've been staying the whole time. And Rita's like, no, you can't. You're not allowed back in the house until you go to the training. Like, go to this training. So because Rita did this, Dexter meets a bitch. And
yeah, he's not allowed to come back unless he gets his pin, his coin for the AA meeting. And it was also Dexter too who winds up saying, because where do you go in all ends of the night and everything on the way on. And everything while I'm in bed, and she goes, look, I've already been down this road with Paul. Are you a drug addict? And then Dexter just goes, yeah, I'm a drug addict. I'm ashamed of it, really. Yeah. And then that's of course when she signs him up for whenever he goes to AA. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. All right. So the other thing I mentioned too is I mentioned Dokes in season 1. Dokes is a hard ass in this one. Like, he's following Dexter wherever he goes. It's like he's following Dexter. He's tracking him in the open when they're going bowling. And then when Dokes leaves, that's when Dexter goes out on the hunt. Dokes is like very suspicious of Dexter's true motives. He's constantly monitoring. So anyway, back to Narcotics Anonymous. Ugh, this part was brutal. This was really brutal because he meets Lila. And oh my God, Lila. Ugh, she was terrible. She was terrible. Like, she was really bad. And she's like, oh, don't worry, Dexter, I'll be your sponsor. So Dexter's these eyes like, hey, Rita, there's my sponsor. And Rita sees Lila and she realizes, oh no, what have I done? So anyway, Dexter's also dealing some stuff too with his close to him, like family life, about find out who really killed his mom. So he's been trying to track him down. So to get over this urge of his, Lila and him take a field trip to the I'm trying to I'm looking up to see where exactly this is. Where he found this guy. Sorry, it's been a while since I've seen season 2. So let's see.
But no, you were mentioning, while you're doing that, I'm just going to mention Dokes and the hard on and everything. He's following him around, of course, at the bowling alley, in his personal life, butting into his personal life and everything. Dexter can't go out and kill anybody, so he has to actually pretend that he's going bowling, which is actually one of the sports that he's good at, surprisingly. Even Dexter admits how good he actually is at bowling. And with the rest of the squad from, of course, the police station. That's his bowling buddies and things like that. But then, of course, Dokes winds up. He's trying to everything he can to get rid of Dokes, and the only way to get rid of Dokes off his back is by telling him that he's going bowling. He goes, "Come on, if you want to come on along with me and everything, you can watch me bowl. Come on." And basically, Dokes says, "Nah, F this." And he winds up going home. And then that's when Dexter goes on ahead and starts slaughtering people again and things like that. People who are actually criminals and other stuff. So
I don't know like specifically where this location was, but anyway, Lila and Dexter take a field trip to find one of the guys that killed his mom. I think one of the guys' name is drug dealer, and then Jimenez, I think, because I know Dexter beats the shit out of him with a baseball bat in a bar. And then so Dexter's been lying to Rita the whole time. No, I'm just trying to clear up some stuff in my past. And of course, Lila intentionally like undresses in front of him while she's about to take a shower, and then she hugs him. Like, all right, they cuddle pretty much, and then they get up, and Dexter's like, yeah, no, nothing's going on. Rita shows up, and they're about to do it, and then all of a sudden the answer machine goes off, and it turns out, hey Dexter, it was Lila. I had a great time over the weekend and all that good stuff. And Rita's like, so Rita leaves. So Dexter's like, he's never been in a relationship before Rita, so he has no idea what to do, and that what he did was wrong or whatever. So something happens, and that leads Dexter, like he gets angry with Lila, and then he has sex with her. So two of them are a couple, and Lila's just effed up in the head. So there was that. So Lila's she's very controlling and all that good stuff. And along the way, before all of this went to hell between Rita and Dexter, Rita's mom shows up, and Rita's mom she doesn't trust Dexter, because the mom is being very controlling. She's being like that. And then, so Dexter's had dad issues. Rita's got mom issues. So I think essentially the two of them are perfect. So anyway, like Dexter's with Lila and then Dexter figures out Lila's not good for him. So he ends up ditching her for a little bit. Sorry if I'm just summarizing here, because it's a lot to take in for this season. So anyway,
it's just a recap anyway. Yeah, so
yeah. Anyway, Dexter. So then to get Dokes off his back and to get the Bay Harbor Butcher idea off of him, he did like he does a lot of like he destroys. So essentially that he finds a new dumping area that leads to the Atlantic Ocean. He falsifies records. He destroys evidence. He contaminates refrigerated remains to throw off the trail. So Lundy, the guy that Special Agent Lundy, they got in there. He's he narrows down the subject to people in Miami with police training. So so after a while, Dexter finally gets rid of his guilt of Brian and returns to killing. And then he finds out his mom was a CI, and that Harry had had an affair with the CI, so Laura Moser. So that'll be picking up a little bit in season 3. Anyway, because I think he finds out, might have been either season 2, that Harry killed himself. So Dexter's really afraid that he caused his dad to die, or he killed himself. So anyway, that's
because at that time Harry walked in on Dexter whenever he was killing somebody.
Yeah.
And he didn't realize that what he did. So he's so in the repercussions of what he trained Dexter to do, because that was his first time ever witnessing his son killing somebody. Yeah, and that what's led probably to him killing himself. And Dexter's having a hard time over that guilt and shame over that.
Yeah. Deb doesn't know. Deb doesn't know that. So anyway, back to Dokes. Dokes is really confident of Dexter, and he confronts him in the police station. Dexter then headbutts Dokes, and then Dexter's walking out. Dokes tackles him, and Dexter makes sure that he lands his head on the side of his desk, which leads in front of everybody, which leads to everybody's side with Dexter, and that Dokes is out of control. So Dokes gets suspended. So because of Dokes getting suspended, Dokes does the next best thing. He breaks into Dexter's apartment and he steals blood samples. And Dokes, being the idiot, he keeps the blood slides in the back of his trunk. And because Dokes is not supposed to go anywhere, they find the slides in Dokes' trunk, which leads everybody to believe Dokes is the butcher and Dexter isn't. So LaGuardia, she's annoying in this one too. Pretty much every season LaGuardia's in, she's annoying. That's just our personal opinion. If you like LaGuardia, that's great. She doesn't do it for me. She's just annoying. She's just constant. Like she decides more with her career than anybody else. So if she throws you under the bus for her career, she'll easily do it in a heartbeat. That's what she did to James Stokes. So anyway, LaGuardia clearly having a relationship with Dokes. Okay. So clearly having a relationship with Dokes because they kind of have history. LaGuardia's like, no, Dokes is innocent. I am not believing any one of you. However, Lundy, who actually, okay, so back to Deb. Lundy's in a relationship with Deb because, of course, because Deb needs to have they need to have Deb with a relationship because, of course, we need stories. So we need Deb to have problems with a relationship. Lundy doesn't believe LaGuardia because of kind of like conflict of interest. So and then eventually he finds Lila, sets him up at the this guy attacked him. When it turns out Lila's the one that really set up the whole staging at the bowling alley. So Dexter's tracking this guy. Jimenez back to this secluded cabin. That's when Dokes finds Dexter. He's like, "You're the Bay Harbor Butcher." Two of them fight. He ends up locking Dokes in a cage. Dokes trying to get in Dexter's head. Yada yada yada. So and then Lila, Dexter's trying to rekindle his relationship with Rita. Lila doesn't like it, so Lila's trying to backstab Batista into tricking Dexter to do it. If not, Lila fakes a "I've been raped" situation just to get Angel to just to get Dexter to be back on it. And then once Lila tracks Dexter down, she sees him with Rita. Lila finds a GPS in his car, leads to Lila finding the cabin where Dokes is in there. She's like, "Oh, you poor thing." And Dokes is like, "I'm all right. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Dexter." Lila sets the cabin on fire, so Dokes dies. He blows up, and Dexter's not happy with that. He finds that out. He's trying to track Lila. He's like, "Hey, Lila, we're going away." And then Lila figures out that he's not going away, and so Lila kidnaps Aster and Cody. Dexter, and then this was a pretty cool sequence where Dexter busts where it was on fire. I thought the whole fire sequence was really cool. Dexter, you think he was gonna die, he doesn't, and Deb shows up because Deb's contemplating, should I go to the airport with Lundy or should I stay here? Luckily, she decides to do the right thing and stay there in Miami and help Dexter out. And then the next image you see Lila in London. She's celebrating "Yay, I'm away." And then she finds a postcard, "Greetings from Miami." And then what do you know? You see Dexter show up, get him and inject her, stab her. He's like, "I only got to make this quick. I can't make this satisfying because I gotta bring your body back to Miami." And then it ends with Rita and the kids and Dexter running around. Sorry, I think that was the longest season 2. I think I got everything. Hopefully. If I forget anything, let me know in the chat.
Well, there's one little it's a small thing, but it's the part where, of course, Dexter winds up making love to Rita inside the bed.
Oh, yeah.
Cody and Aster walks in and everything. And, of course, Dexter's underneath the sheets, hiding from them, pretending that he's not there because they were going to wait till later on to let them know that they were back together. But, oops. And so, basically, what winds up happening is they wind up getting back together again. They walk back outside the door after they wind up walking in on them. They make love again, and then it cuts over into season 3.
Yeah, and Lila, like a little quick thing about Lila, she loves fire. She set her apartment on fire to get Dexter back, but that's all you need to know, Lila. She's dead. Yep. Moving on season 3.
Right. Now that we're all caught up, like Deadpool would say, let me go on ahead and tell you guys something about John Mudgett's book. John Mudgett's book is called Crazy Is As Crazy Does, A Life of a Serial Killer. And this book is very entertaining from the concept that I read and the synopsis that I read. And I like the concept of a person that is in 1955 who happens to be a serial killer. He runs into other people of the 1955 era, like Ted Bundy. You have the lead singer of The Doors that shows up. You have other people within the era of the 1955. And then, of course, John Goodman is actually the character name of the serial killer. Matter of fact, he's actually going to be shot in first person view. So basically, when you're reading this book, he's in first person. You don't even know what he looks like or anything like that. And that's one of the aspects that I like, is the fact that he doesn't throw in what the guy looks like. So you can use your imagination of what this guy looks like into the mind of John Goodman. So go ahead, check out Crazy As Crazy Does. On Amazon, you can find that book by clicking on the link below if you're interested in finding John H. Mudgett's book. And matter of fact, he actually won an award for it. And go ahead and check that out whenever you can. So, without further ado, let's go on ahead and get into season 3. Now that we did all our recaps and all that good stuff, let's do this. So, basically, like I said at the very beginning, the ending of season 2, Rita and Dexter has been making love a lot, like more than the Notebook. So basically, what winds up happening is this: she winds up having some urges for chocolate. She's been craving some chocolate and stuff like that. And also too, her hormones are all over the place as well. And of course, she goes, "Wait, I've done this before. I feel like I've done this before." And then she's like, "I'm pregnant." And Dexter's like, "Oh crap," because he has no idea about how to take care of a kid. He's just now getting over to the fact that he's in a relationship and knows how to handle a relationship because, Harry taught him the code of trying to fit in, and everybody doesn't want to be alone. And also too, he never taught him how to handle a relationship. And now that he has that handled, now he's tossed into the fact that he's having a kid, and Dexter is scared and everything because he doesn't realize what he's having to sacrifice to be a father. Doesn't know what to do as a father. Doesn't have any idea what he's getting himself into. And matter of fact, even Harry winds up pointing that out later on in the show. He goes, "Look, there's a lot of responsibility whenever you have a kid. Whenever you can't go missing all hours of the night. You can't choose if you're going to kill somebody or not and be there for a kid. It's a whole lot harder on that level than what you think. There's a lot more complexity when it comes down to that. And think about the responsibilities of it." And then Rita, of course, she's trying to figure out what Dexter actually wants. Does he want to keep the baby? What's going on with him? And things like that. And I like how it has that realness to it. It's not that cheesiness of the fact that, in most Lifetime movies, the guy's quick enough to actually jump in and everything and be the hero. It hits you with real life situations and what somebody would actually think, and on both parties and everything. And then Rita tells Dexter that she's deciding that she's going to keep the baby. She's been a single mother so far. Asher and Cody even thinks that she's great at it and stuff like that. And so Dexter's having this whole entire deal where it's like, he's half in, but half out. Like, he doesn't know how to actually handle this and everything. So I definitely like that aspect to it. And then, of course, this also leads into him stalking a murderous drug dealer named Freebo. And Dexter stumbles upon a fight between Freebo and another man who has been forced to kill. He forced to kill Freebo in self-defense because of the fact this other guy and him were actually fighting. And so it happens to be this Freebo gone in the way and everything of his kill. So Dexter winds up killing Freebo on an accident. And then also, too, we also see another scene where, of course, Dexter's in the dentist office getting a crown done. And, of course, his crown winds up getting knocked out of his mouth and it falls on the floor. And so at that point in time, Dexter has to go in and has to leave Freebo's place in time before the cops show up or anything like that. So he winds up leaving in a hurry. Also, too, before that, there's also a little kid that he's also looking for Freebo and things like that, too, where there's a kid at the front door and he's looking for drugs. Am I right, Charlie? Am I telling that part right on that part? Or is that later on?
No, you're right, because he finds where Freebo's office is. He takes out some Oreos and he starts licking the cream. He's like, I'm looking for Freebo, man. He's trying to act like a drug addict, which I thought was hysterical. He's like, hey man, I'm looking for Freebo. Do you know where he is? And he's got like an itch. He's like an urge for drugs. And it's hysterical.
The kid's like, what did you do? Look him up on Google? And so I like how he crunches up his body, how Dexter's able to do different types of body movements with his body to give that indication that he is a drug addict, even though he's not. And he goes, hey, is Freebo there? I heard he's got some good stuff. He starts licking the Oreo, and the kid's just over there laughing. And he goes, "What, man? Get out of here! Just come on. I want to hit. Give me a little. I know he's got the good stuff." He goes, "Man, what did you do? Look him up on Google?" So after a while, the kid lets him in. He winds up scoping out Freebo's place, and then, of course, after he does that, then it's that same night and everything when he decides he's going to try and kill Freebo, and that's whenever he gets into the altercation with Freebo on an accident and everything, and killing him on an accident and everything.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
No, go on ahead.
Okay. Actually, the guy that he goes in the house and he sees a confrontation. It's Freebo and this other guy.
Yeah.
Freebo gets away. The other guy, his name is Oscar. I'll reveal the last name in a second. He sees Dexter, and Dexter's like, "Oh shit!" So Dexter is self-defense. He stabs the guy, Oscar, and then because Oscar knocks out, like you had mentioned, knocks out his crown on his tooth. So Dexter has to leave the place, and then he finds out, like, once he gets back, what's going on here. That's the assistant director. That's Miguel Prado. And Dexter's like, oh shit. Dexter killed Oscar by mistake because he meant to kill Freebo, and Freebo got away. So Dexter's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, in a sense, his head is like kind of him acting like he's on drugs. I need some Freebo, man. Like he's like, so he's covering it up. He's trying to cover up the sequence to make sure that Freebo killed Oscar in self-defense. So then he encounters Miguel Prado, played by Jimmy Smits, who I think was actually really good in this season. I thought he was a really good character.
To be honest with you, dude, that's what I wanted to talk about with Jimmy Smits' performance in Dexter. Mm-hmm. He was just awesome, and don't get me wrong, he was also awesome in Sons of Anarchy in the last couple of seasons and everything too. I thought he did a really good job at playing a pimp and everything in Los Angeles and things like that with Sons of Anarchy. Yeah. But man, he played this role to a T though. It just shows you the level and complexity of Jimmy Smits' character, because he had to go ahead and pretend that he's this big, huge rock star DA or not a defense attorney or anything like that. But I know that he was actually going to be be one at one point or another, but he's this big politician basically. Yeah. And he's the rock star, and he plays that so well, especially whenever he comes in and he owns the place. You can tell that his presence actually owns the place, and all the cops are just gung-ho after him. And don't get me wrong, LaGreta is always about politics and things like that. So it's no surprise that you find out in this episode that she's politically connected with him as well, and they have a past together, because look, she played politics in the first 2 seasons, so why not play politics in the 3rd season? So, but going ahead, I'll let you.
She's also romantically involved with him in the past, and all you gotta know, LaGuardia is annoying in this one. We're not gonna focus on her. Like, maybe towards the end we'll focus on her because it has something to do with the plot. But she's annoying in this one. LaGuardia had a relationship with Jimmy Smits. We're just gonna leave it there for a while. So anyway, Miguel tries to see Dexter. He wants his analysis. 2 of them start becoming friends. And then one night when Dexter finds Freebo, Dexter kills him. And what do you know, Miguel is still in that area too. Witnesses Dexter. Dexter's like, I was here to find him. I did it in self-defense. And Miguel is like, thank you. Like, he thanked Dexter. So, and then he supposedly wipes the blood on his shirt, which we know later on that's BS.
Right.
He's trying to buy Dexter's trust so he can betray him, or vice versa. Anyway, so
But
yeah.
also too, Freebo at that time though too, everybody thought he was out on the run and didn't know where he was at. Not only that, but also too, there was also a dead hooker that was actually related to Freebo and everything because of the fact that they were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So you had that relation to that, and also led over to Miguel checking out the ex-girlfriend's place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also raining at that moment though too.
Yeah.
And Dexter's like, look, I have to make this in a rush. Usually I have something sentimental to say, but you know, I'm just gonna have to do the best I can. He quickly goes on ahead, does the little scar incision that he always does with the scalpel, and then he puts it in the slide like he normally does with the blood.
Yeah.
And then he goes outside because he hears a car pull up, and it's Miguel. Miguel looks at him and goes, Dexter?
Yeah. And he was ready to shoot him. So both of them were in the right place. This one just got there sooner. And so Freebo's former girlfriend was killed, and part of her skin was cut off. Which leads to, of course, another serial killer. Because that seems to be the trend here in the show. Every season there's some sort of demented killer. This one's called the Skinner. And yeah. That was so they do that, and there's a new cop involved, Joey Quinn, and Deb keeps getting and Deb starts the season. No men, no cigarettes, no alcohol. Yeah, it goes out the window really fast. So
and
she
Joey,
gets,
right? And let's just describe Joey's character real quick though too.
Yeah,
because so that way we can just set it up with everybody who's listening. Joey is pretty much this guy who is pretty much, if you think about like a Miami Vice kind of cop, if you think about it from the 80s TV show, kind of in a sense, where he's basically a douchey kind of cop, but he also plays by the rules at the same time. Only whenever it comes down to other cops' lives, he plays by the rules. But when it comes down to his life and his own personal gain, he has his own motives. It's okay. But when it comes down to other cops and their lives and stuff, it's totally different. You'll find out in a few minutes what we're talking about, especially with the CI.
Yeah. And then I the scene, the outfits he's wearing, he's kind of he's kind of like a dumbed down version of Mike Lowry from Bad Boys in terms of the outfits. Because he's wearing the Rolex, and he's always in the money, like he's got some sort of money, and we don't know. So anyway,
thank you for the analogy, because I wasn't sure how to actually categorize them with some of the character that's relatable. So Mike Lowry would actually be perfect.
Yeah, because he's Mike Lowry's actually likable. Quinn,
he has his moments.
He has his moments, but anyway, Debs gets bombarded with this Asian girl. She works for Internal Affairs.
In Vice, yeah.
In Vice. She keeps annoying Deb, showing up randomly at these areas and acting like she's her friend. And Deb's like, what the fuck are you doing here, bitch? So essentially, that's essentially what she says. Like literally everything. She's like parking the car. It's like, hey, it looks like you can use some friends. And Deb's like so annoyed with her. It's like, I told you to back off. Leave me alone. I'm surprised Deb didn't like sue her for harassment. Because that's literally what she was doing. And it's like, it's kind of like hurts the case. And so she's investigating Joey Quinn because of something he must have did in the past. And then Joey tells Deb, and Deb, he's like, all right, well, you're wearing a wire, or I'm going to tell everybody in the police department you're my best friend because you're a rat. And it's like, is that really how you're going to answer these problems? I thought that whole portion was annoying. I was really tempted just to fast forward for it because there was clearly nothing we gained from it. Nothing happened in it. Nothing big happened. Eventually, she just went away. Too bad Dexter didn't kill her. I was hoping for that. So that was a whole pointless. And then so anyway, they're trying to get information, and Joey's like, "Here, I know this CI." He's not really CI, but you'll find that you can find that on later in the episodes, like later on. And it's funny because the CI is played by John Diggle from Arrow, which I thought was
okay. I knew he was familiar.
Yeah,
and I was like, "There's something familiar about this dude, right?" And I'm like, "What is going on here? What is so okay?"
Yeah, this is before Arrow. I believe it was 4 years later he did Arrow. And I was joking, he's saying that if he got captured, I was about to Oliver Queen's going to show up. You have failed Miami, and he's like, you have failed this city. You have failed Miami. And then, so anyway, Anton and Deb's questioning him, and Anton's like, playing the hard to get kind of a guy. Like, I don't know anything. You can kind of see where this is going. Of course, Deb's talking to CI because Deb's gonna sleep with him because that's pretty much it. Anytime Deb sees somebody she likes, she's sleeping with him, and she's thinking with her. She's not really thinking; she's doing it. And then
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah,
because you always say he's thinking with other parts. Now you're gonna throw in she's thinking with her vagina, but
actually, no, I didn't say that. I wasn't going to. I was just thinking Deb doesn't think clearly that's why her relationships don't last. And it's like,
okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, her relationships don't last because anytime she thinks she likes a guy, she has trust issues.
It's on impulse though too.
Yeah, but I mean that's just how complex Deb's character is. She cusses. Well, not really complex. It's pretty simplistic. She curses. She sleeps. She eats. She drinks, and she smokes. That's pretty much it. And she likes saying like busting balls with her brother. That's Deb in a nutshell. I mean, it's just that. But so anyway, she sleeps with Anton. Turns out and then turns out Joey lied to him, saying that he was about to arrest him, but he's like, I don't want to file out no paperwork. Like, so he's on the books. So they use him as bait to get the Skinner. And then Anton gets captured. Deb saves him.
Right, but before all that happens, though, too, there's a lot of other meat that we need to get to, though, too. Yeah. But at first, I'm just going to mention this one small thing, is the fact that Deb didn't even want to use him as bait in the first place. It's just that all the other people are saying, even Joey was saying, you need to use him as bait, and she didn't want to do it because she was in love with the dude and everything. And he goes, what, you have feelings for him? And of course, she can't actually say it, but she does. And so anyways, backtracking just a little bit, we wind up seeing the closeness that Miguel is trying to do with Dexter and everything, because Dexter doesn't trust a lot of people. The last male friend that he had, supposedly, is his brother. And look how well that happened. So no wonder why Dexter doesn't want to get close to anyone or anything like that, is because he trusted somebody, and because he trusted someone and let his guard down the first time, he even owns up to that in the season, it winded up backstabbing him. It winds up totally backstabbing him in the first place. So he has a hard time trusting Miguel. Miguel wants in on his life. He just at first you're thinking that he has the right intentions for Dexter, especially when they share that moment with the blood on Miguel's shirt, and that he wants to go ahead and cover it up and wants to try and pin it on this other guy who gets away with different various crimes and everything. And come to find out, he's also has it out for this other lawyer named Ellen, who supposedly lets other criminals walk. And therefore, he puts on a good show. Miguel puts on a damn good show when it comes down to the interrogations. And then we see that play out in front of Dexter. And, I just can imagine without Dexter being there, and it's just Lagretta and him and the lawyer. He goes, you see what's going on here? She's just going to let this other one walk on by and everything, acting like nothing's even going to happen and everything. Another scapegoat, another person gets let go and everything. But Miguel plays that to a T. Jimmy Smith does a good job with that. And then, of course, he goes to Oscar's funeral. And basically, Dexter was actually hesitant about even going to the funeral and everything. And this is what Miguel says. He goes, man, you're going to see life at this funeral. You're going to see what family is actually going to be. It's like Vin Diesel showing Paul Walker what family is, but it's Miguel's side of the family, which is a lot more violent, though, because you have the other brother. What's the other brother's name, Charlie?
Ramon.
Ramon is this guy who's just on edge 24/7. He drinks. He's an adrenaline junkie, pretty much. He goes on his first instincts rather than go ahead and questioning anything. He's also another one that thinks on emotion and also on impulse rather than then ask questions. He'll kick your ass first and then ask questions later kind of guy, kind of cop that he is, which gets him in trouble. But another thing though too is Miguel takes Dexter under his wing and everything goes, look, I just want to say thank you for doing everything that you did for me, because I did what you did what I couldn't do, which was venge my brother's death. And because you venged my brother's death, now you are my brother. And so Dexter's thinking to himself though too, he goes, I had a brother, that didn't work out so well. And then of course he winds up seeing Oscar laying there in the coffin and everything, and you can definitely tell that Dexter doesn't know quite what to do or quite what to say. He has no emotion to him because he doesn't know how to feel at a funeral. So when this guy randomly comes up to him, he goes, so you were close? Yeah, we were real close. And he acts like he has some pain, but there's nothing there. It's just real dry eye, basically. But still, I thought that scene worked very well.
Yeah. So the other parts, like we're jumping over the place. So
it's fine.
The relationship between Rita and Dexter. There's a part in the thing where Dexter shows up and everybody's like, they announced to Aster and Cody, she's pregnant. Your mom Rita's pregnant again. She's like, why aren't you? And you two not married? So this one, Aster starts becoming a teenager. She starts growing up to be a teenager. She starts being like a classic teenager, like moves.
Over dramatic.
She's over dramatic. Yeah, pretty much like that. And then she's like very rude. So apparently not only are Miguel and Dexter becoming friends, Miguel's wife, like Sylvia, becomes best friends with Rita. So anyway, so Dexter's like does a fake proposal in a sense, and Rita's not happy at it. Rita's just all over the place because of her hormones and stuff. And this one, oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, man, I don't mean to interrupt
no,
you, but it wasn't so much as a fake proposal. It's just the fact that Cody and Astra was the one who goes, so are you guys going to get married? And Dexter's like, yeah, we are, because that's what we do. And then he goes, so how do you feel about marriage? Do you want to get married? And that was basically him proposing, because the guy does not know how to propose.
No. And then he's asking Deb for advice, and Deb's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, so they go to a ring store. Dexter does the real thing, and he proposes to Rita after Rita's having this like mental breakdown, like about the waffle situation.
Yeah, the waffle situation made me laugh.
She was going total bitch mode on everybody in this one, and I was like, damn, like it's like Dexter's like, what did I do? All right, I'll see you later. I'm going to work, and then so there's various times, and then like Miguel has Dexter track this guy that's like, I think you mentioned it briefly. So Dexter goes off the grid to track this guy on a boat, and that's when Rita has a medical issue and Dexter's not there, and that's when Dexter's like, hey, I want this, I want my son with this. And Harry's he's in it a lot more in this one via like visions and stuff, pretty much telling Dexter, what do you think you're doing? You're not supposed to be telling Miguel how to do this. So he's teaching him some stuff from the code. He's not telling him the whole code. But so they're going to department store shopping, and then
yeah, he said think of it as serial killers for dummies.
Pretty much. So Dexter's trying to get Miguel to help, trying to get Miguel to stay off of killing. He's trying to lead him to not do it. So they're trying to get this guy in the casino or whatever. They get him, but Miguel's the one that kills him. So Miguel gets the edge, like, oh yeah, that's my fix. I need to kill more. So along the way, the cops are still looking for Freebo. Dexter and Miguel are the only ones that know what really true things happened to Freebo. Then there's a part where Ramon is going to be their point of contact from the sheriff's department. He's going to work with the cops, and then he's working with the cops until the cops figure out the real cops. And Masuka has an identity crisis. Little thing, it's not really worth mentioning.
But it's funny though, in a sense, though. I mean, basically, he winds up meeting this girl that wrote his article and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, that was a big deal for him that he got published in this magazine, and this girl shows up, and he's expecting this dorky, geeky girl, and it turns out to be this good-looking girl. And then it does a background check, makes Angel do a background check on him.
I think that's later on. I think the girl that he hires is the one that actually did the bachelor party. She was the one that Quinn gave him. I was talking about I think Masuka goes off on his friends.
Oh yeah.
Because they never showed up. They didn't care about him. And then Quinn throws out the magazine. And then that's when everybody teams up against Ramon and say, Masuka's the best guy there. This has nothing to do with the Skinner. You're just here just because Ramon's all pissed off at the cops for not doing their jobs. You guys are sitting, and he's like, you're sitting on your fucking asses, not doing a thing. To the point, like, they get Ramon fired from his job as a sheriff or a cop or whatever he works. I don't know. It's timeline's too confusing. Anyway, so Masuka, now he's all dressed and all fancy. He used to start drinking fancy. He's not doing anymore because he's always doing sex jokes like all the time. Then he cleans it up, and then everybody's like, "Dude, what the hell's wrong with you?" So they kind of like, "Oh, now you want my sex crazy stuff." So Ramon's out of the question. So anyway, because the cop, so that's the whole Freebo situation. Back to Miguel. Miguel kills somebody. Now he gets the edge. Now he wants Dexter to. All right, we need to kill the prosecutor that's been letting people loose, Ellen Wolf. And then so Dexter's like, no, we don't kill innocent people. But come on, Dexter. Like, he's like trying to force, like, well, fuck you then. Like, pretty much. He just drops it. And Dexter's like, you know what? I'm out of here.
Because look, another thing that you have to admit though to this, Charlie, though, whenever they're having that confrontation at lunch and everything, Dexter's trying to explain to him that there's a lot more into planning than what we have to do. It's all going to get linked back to you. This is not a good idea. He's explaining it to him. And that's when he pretty much says F you. But if you look at the hands, the body language of Miguel, his hands are moving. And it's aggression. You can tell it's aggression. It's not passive aggressive or anything like that. It's right there out in the open on how aggressive he is and how violent Miguel is. And also, too, Miguel also used the excuse of the reason why he wants to kill someone is because he wants to feel wants to feel like he's in control again of his life, because the last time that he felt control of things was when he pushed his drunk father down the stairs and to save his brother.
Yeah.
So
then Dexter's really seeing like, oh shit, I created a monster. And he's like, and then all the various times he's talking to Harry, he's like, go on, Dad. Tell him I saw what you know. You tried to make friends, and I commend that because you're not supposed to have friends, and he's trying to commend him for that. So anyway, I forgot to mention Angel is now a sergeant. He got promoted to sergeant. He had a fling with a cop.
Well, it was a cop that was part of Vice who winds up being a prostitute that Angel winds up getting busted from. Yeah. And she goes, Angel Batista? She goes, yeah. He goes, get out. And so he gets out of the room, out of the hotel room and everything. And then, of course, the next day and everything, he's worried that he's going to get fired.
Yeah. Yeah, and luckily he doesn't. He just says, I've been lonely. I always care about my little girl. So not really much mentioned on that one. It's just and at the end, it's like, we'll get to that in a sec. So anyway, the night that after Dexter gets back home, he finds then he sees the image of Miguel going to Ellen Wolf's house, which LaGuardia has a relationship and in a sense or a friendship with. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care about.
It's odd seeing them cook together, though.
It is. That was odd. So anyway, Elaine's dead. Dexter finds out about it, and he goes to the location where he tells Miguel, "Oh yeah, I bury my body. Just wait for a funeral. I bury the body right before the funeral happens, so the body will be on top, like underneath a casket or whatever." So Dexter finds it, and then he's like, "You know what? Miguel did this against Matt. He's lied to me. F him. I'm gonna teach him a lesson by reporting this to the cops." And then Miguel is like saying some stuff, and then it turns out Dexter finds out he was lying because Rita said the same stuff that Miguel told him. And then there's all over the place. It's all over the place, so it's not worth mentioning anymore.
Well, Also, too, Miguel was also lying to his wife. His wife's thinking that she's having an affair and
Yeah.
everything whenever he's not having an affair. Then, of course, Dexter winds up going. This is also what causes the whole war, though, too.
Yeah.
Between them, this whole feud is because Dexter goes into Miguel's house and he's looking for a trophy because we've seen where basically Miguel was obsessed with rings, with some type of souvenir, especially whenever he did that first guy in the casino. He wanted the ring. Dexter told him no, that cannot be done because that could be linked back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so he takes Helen Wolf's ring as a souvenir and everything. But I'm gonna let you continue. I'm sorry, Charlotte.
So no, you're good. No worries. So he Dexter finds the ring, and so a lot of times Rita is always asking questions like is he having an affair with LaGuerta? And then at one point it gets to the point look, like Miguel is with at LaGuerta's area. Batista asks Dexter to do something, and then all of a sudden LaGuerta's busting Dexter's balls for no reason because she's a hard ass. And then so Dexter shows up right before Miguel and LaGuerta are about to get it on. He shows up and he goes, "Oh, sorry, detective. I want to I want Lieutenant. I want to say I'm sorry for this." So Dexter plays cock blocker to LaGuerta, and luckily, and then that's when all things go to hell. So Dexter leaves, and then Sylvia shows up and sees LaGuerta there, and then there's one of the guys that they fought. LaGuerta fought, killed Ellen. Says, "Oh yeah, this guy had he's like this douchebag that was in an SUV kind of car. It was black, and he had these holo lights." And LaGuerta gets blinded by it, and then she starts to picture up that Miguel isn't who he says he is, and he was the one that really killed Ellen, but she doesn't know that for sure. And then so we gotta go back to the whole Skinner situation. So Anton gets captured by the Skinner. Deb is such she's very stricken, I'm getting my badge, I'm getting that. So she finds out the Skinner literally not only skins people but skins trees. So they find out it's one of those tree cutters.
Because remember what Deb said when she was getting the pictures together, because all this fucking time we've been looking to the ground. At this moment, she sounds like she's from someone from the 60s. It's like she's spoken weed. It's like all this time we've been looking to the ground when really, bruh, we should be looking to the sky. But that's what it feels like to me. It's like 1956, and what are you talking about? All this time that we should have been looking to this to the sky. Turns out he's a trimmer. He's a pine tree trimmer, and everything. So that and also too, his way of leaving his trademark is leaving the skin trees on the ground, the limbs on the ground to signify what house that he hit. So each house that they've been at, even though we don't, here's the thing, I've noticed after watching this and everything with the whole, because when you first watch it, you don't realize it, but there's actually dead trees that he actually trimmed down and everything. That's part of that pine tree. So that's actually a palm tree. It was palm tree trimmer. So that's actually pretty cool that they actually did that, where each house that he actually would hit, those leftovers of the palm tree is actually on the ground.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they wound up finding out that this guy is actually the Skinner and everything. And then, of course, they decide that they're going to try and get the CI to be the
bait.
For bait and everything, which, you can definitely tell Deb didn't want to do it, but she had no choice but to do it because Joe pretty much made her do it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to let you go on and continue.
Yeah. So the Skinner kills a lot of people, including the kid that we talked about earlier that worked with Freebo, because the Skinner really wanted the money from Freebo. So the Skinner has been looking. So they interrogate this one guy, and he's very scared of this guy named George. His name is George Washington something. And I thought it was so funny that his name is George Washington because George Washington, the president, actually cut down trees. So I thought this was kind of I didn't pick up on it till just recently. Like, oh my God, what a really hilarious coincidence that both of them cut down trees. So anyway, so George is like, oh no, I didn't do anything wrong. Guy looked like a perv from the beginning. So anyway, Anton. So anyway, so his name, like the Skinner is George Washington. I forgot his last name, but literally, I'm not joking. His middle name is Washington. His name is George Washington. Was the Skinner?
That makes it even fun to be talk about historical.
I know,
right?
Both cut down trees. One was a serial killer. The other one was the president of the United States.
Hey, who would have thought we would actually have a John Goodman in a fictional book, and now here we have that's named after an actor, and now we have George Washington, who happens to be named after a historical figure. Yeah. But I thought that he was, to be honest with you, I felt danger in this episode. I felt like anybody could go at any moment. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, I was scared that, especially with Miguel hiring the Skinner to kill Dexter, I was thinking that Rita was going to die or the kids were going to die in this episode, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I did too.
In the season.
Yeah, this season. Yeah, definitely. Like it definitely had a tension. Like, so Miguel was like playing games with Dexter. Dexter like, I ain't fooling around with this. And then Miguel tries to blackmail Dexter by getting records of Deb and the CI that's not really a CI. So and then because Deb was about to get her, like, because Batista said, "Hey, I'm giving you your detective badge," and he goes, "What is this?" And Miguel has this investigation on you or whatever for has the records of your CI or whatever. So Dexter's like, "All right, you know what? I'm done fooling around with this guy." So he wants the Skinner to still be out there, so he's trying to plant that the Skinner is the one that killed Miguel. All along, LaGuardia is finding this out too, trying to found out that he killed Ellen. So Dexter's like in his head, like anytime Dexter does his thoughts, it's hysterical, and he goes, "Keep thinking. It's okay. Take your time. I'm going to take care of the job for you." So and I think the way he gets Miguel is like the best way. He's like, yeah, he tricks because he goes into Miguel's hotel room because Sylvia doesn't buy him anymore and kicks him out. He's in a hotel room. Dexter's like, "Hey, Senior, can you get me in the room? I lost my key and I need it cleaned." So he tricks the cleaning lady to get in there for him. He's like, "Okay, I'm good now, thank you." So he leaves. He sees on the computer that LaGuardia showed up because LaGuardia he had Dexter LaGuardia typed in her code because the ADA has records of everything. Kind of funny, I thought it was funny that Dexter was playing Halo on his computer, which was a funny game. It was the game when Dexter's sitting at Miguel's desk. He's playing Halo, which I thought that was pretty funny. So anyway, that was just a little funny Easter egg for Halo fans. So it was a little short. Anyway, he figures out LaGuardia is being targeted. So Miguel shows up at LaGuardia's house, plays the answer machine. He's like, hey, LaGuardia, sorry, it's me, it's Dexter. Can you meet me at this diner at 8:00? And then I knew something was going to happen. As soon as Miguel goes to the door, Dexter's right there and injects him in the neck. And you're like, yeah. And then he gets him, and then he's like, and the way he doesn't stab him like normal because he wants the Skinner to be involved with this. He chokes him out, and man, that's brutal. That was brutal. When you hear the neck snap, it was like, ooh, Dexter's a lot stronger than he lets on. You're muted, John.
Sorry. Another thing that Dexter does with this, though, he doubles down on the rap. Because remember, he actually killed somebody that was just as tall as Jimmy was and had almost close to the same build as him. So when Jimmy wakes up, and when Miguel wakes up, he's looking around like, oh, shit. This is about to happen. This is about, in the words of Kevin Hart, it's about to go down. And also, too, like I said, he used a lot of rap for Jimmy because of the build that he had. And you could definitely tell that he couldn't move at all compared to some of the other kills that Dexter did. Don't get me wrong. You couldn't move out of those kind of things. But this level of plastic was a lot more intense for this scene because of the things that was happening between Miguel and him and everything. And I also liked how Miguel tells him, hey, look, we were supposed to be brothers. and everything. We were supposed to be friends. Friends forgive each other because we're way past the forgiving level, and just goes on ahead and kills them. And I love the kill. The kill was so satisfying and everything. But McGill was a great character. Mm-hmm. He had a great character arc and everything. I really liked the way they did it.
Yeah. So then again, Deb's having relationship issues again. Renault needs to focus on that. It's very on again, off again. And then Dexter. Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Dexter also winds up proposing finally in the right way.
Yeah.
And during all this is happening, he's also planning his wedding. And I'm just mentioning the wedding. I'm not mentioning other things that happen within that because that's not really that important. No. It's good for comical stuff within the show. So if you guys want to check that out, I strongly recommend that you check out season 3 for the comical stuff that happens with Dexter whenever he's planning his wedding. Because when he plans his wedding, it's not it's in a comical way because of the fact that it's always the bad timing.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'm going to let you go on ahead and get into the whole Skinner situation.
Okay, so before Dexter actually kills Miguel, he reveals, I killed Oscar. And then he kills him. So it's just that. So Ramon, being the hard ass that he is, he trashes Dexter's apartment. Well, before he kills Miguel, I want to get to the bachelor party sequence. I thought that was hysterical. Right when the episode ends, they capture Dexter and oh shit, is Dexter gone? And then Dexter gets out. He sucker punches Masuko, and everybody's "Oh!" Joey's all into it. Joey's he's your brother's very weird, but he was all into Masuko getting sucker punched in the face. So they're at their bachelor party. Everybody's getting drunk like that. Even Rita kind of knew about the bachelor party, and she's Dexter's I didn't do anything bad, and she's good. I'm and then Dexter's in my head, I'm yeah, I kind of wanted to, but. But that bachelor party was that when him getting out of the car because you really thought something was happening. But then I was kind of have a feeling it's the bachelor party. And then he sucker punches Masuka. That was hysterical. And then they all woke up hungover except for Batista because I don't drink. So everybody's hungover, and then Deb sucker punches Masuko in the arm. She's "Why the fuck didn't you invite me to the bachelor party?" That's what Deb always says. Why didn't you invite me to the bachelor party? And everybody's super hungover, and then except for Batista's "Hey, we got a job to do." I just have to mention that real quick. I thought that was really cool.
The bachelor party was actually funny. I forgot about the bachelor party, to be honest with you. So I was thinking it was actually the Skinner once again because it's been so long since I've seen this show. So I'm thinking it's that. I'm oh, okay, I forgot about the bachelor party. The bachelor party was actually pretty fun to watch. And then, of course, Dexter's wanting Deborah now to be the best man. She and everything too. And he goes, well, she goes, why didn't you ask in the first place, jerkbag? He goes, well, I thought that a best man was supposed to be a man. But, there's that little small comical aspect that I was mentioning and stuff like that. But the bachelor party was funny. I like the fact when Masuka gets punched in the face and everything. Joey's, of course, laughing. Batista hasn't drank anything since season 1 and 2 because of the stuff that happened in season 2 because Dexter winds up dropping him off at his ex-wife's house whenever he got intoxicated and not realizing that him and his wife are not even married anymore. So therefore now Angel doesn't drink.
No. So with the bachelor party out of the way, now back to the Skinner. So Ramon is pissed off at Dexter. He destroys his apartment. He's tracking Dexter while he's got Cody and Aster, and Dexter fought the guy that was following him was Ramon, but it wasn't. It was the Skinner because Skinner's working with Miguel. Ramon shows up at the rehearsal dinner, and he points a gun out, and he pointed a gun at a bunch of cop friends. That doesn't do you well. So he gets taken into custody, and then Dexter actually has a heart-to-heart with Ramon, and he kind of puts the demons to rest on him, about Miguel, and pretty much it reveals Ramon was the one that pushed the dad. Ramon was the one that really pushed the dad. He's the one that did everything, and then he was being the one that was like that, and the brother was taking credit for it, and he's being the hotshot that he is. So Ramon was really the one brother out of all the three that was actually the smartest one.
Yeah, and I actually liked how Dexter put it. He had to be the star.
Yeah.
Miguel had to be the star of everything. He used that story of what happened with his brother protecting him to use it for his front, for his political gain and everything, which is something that I think, of course, what Lagretta would do. And let me just tell you something that I think that's actually funny. Whenever Dexter's actually in Lagretta's house, she has a big old huge picture of her own self with an American flag, and she's in front of the American flag. The only people that does that is conceited people who has pictures of themselves and loves themselves enough to have a picture of themselves in a big, huge poster frame. You know, it makes me think of Mike Larry in a sense, but also too at the same time, Mike Larry I don't think was that conceited into the whole political thing. Anyways, it was about himself, about other things besides political gain. But Lagretta is also the same level as Miguel in my perspective of it when it comes down to political gain and power.
Pretty much, yeah. So, so after he has to hurt the Ramon, Dexter's and Ramon destroys Dexter's suit. Like literally, like it was like, oh come on, the guy's about to get married and he destroyed his suit. So luckily, Dexter got a new suit and he's ready to go and he's going to his car. And then he gets knocked out, and then Deb's finding out, like, I think, like, Deb gets her detective badge after all in the quarters, like, about, did you sleep with the CI? And he goes, yes, and I would do it again. And the quarters, like, here's your badge, because Deb thought she was going to get fired.
And another thing, though, too, is I like how Batista goes in first.
Yeah.
His first is Batista.
Even on the... goes, I'm sleeping with a cop.
Hey, look, Lagretta, yeah, I just need to talk to you for a minute. It was better if you hear from me than anyone else, but I was going to sleep with a prostitute, but I didn't. I don't do that anymore. But it turns out it was a cop. And he goes, why are you telling me this? Because I figured I needed to come clean just in case anything. She goes, there's more important things going on right now than me having to worry about where you put your penis and other things.
Pretty much.
And so basically, Adrian goes, has like a big gasp of breath, and he goes, well, I was just trying to get my head in the right place and everything. I wasn't thinking. I'm done. Just go.
And he also kind of throws Deb under the bus. So we think.
Right.
He's like, hey, if I'm going down, I'm taking her with me. And then so they get this. So the Skinner's still out there. And then anyway, and then Deb's trying to get back with Anton. It was very on and off relationship. It was really annoying. As Oliver Queen showed, like, Diggle, you failed the city. I'm sorry, he just showed up a bone arrow and just take him out. Anyway, Dexter wakes up and he's trapped. He's strapped to a table with the Skinner, and then Dexter's thinking of, like, he's talking to his, having a heart to heart with his dad. And he goes, "I'm not the one crying," because he realizes I need to live for my son. So then Dexter decides to go and antagonize the perpetrator. He's getting his head, "Hey, I killed Freebo. Yeah, I made him squeal." Like he's like saying stuff to get him all pissed off. I gotta get my tools. Like I gotta torture him. Dex. Like I think Dexter didn't say that, but I'm surprised he didn't say I made him squeal like a pig. Like I'm surprised it would have made that sequence a little bit more funnier, since Dexter's just like he's gonna piss you off mode. He's gonna get in your head. He's gonna piss you off and make you do something stupid.
Right, and because he's trying to make, basically with serial killers, in the mind of a serial killer is this: they love control. And if they don't have that control, they lose their impulse control over that. So that's why Dexter's trying to get into his head to make him lose control and everything too. And also too, whenever the CI does get captured, that was the most painful stop that I ever seen on TV. Whenever he gets, when the CI gets caught, and you don't know where he's at and everything, that was painful to watch. To be honest with you, with that torturing.
Yeah, I thought that was painful. But I don't think it's as painful as seeing your whole back get scorched with fire to burn your tattoo in Sons of Anarchy. I think Sons of Anarchy.
Not on that level.
Not on that level, no. But and then a little Easter egg before you finish up, before I finish up that sequence. John mentioned this earlier when we're discussing it about the Deb kind of has a foreshadowing moment, because I think there's like Dexter's close friend is dying of cancer. And she was the one that was really in that. And then so Deb's like, if I was ever in that position, and if you were in the same, I want you to end me, like either shoot me or pull the plug. which is a little bit of foreshadowing into season 8, which we'll get to in a minute. I just figured I'd mention that. And this season has got quite a bit of foreshadowing later on. So anyway, back to Dexter antagonizing the making the guy his bitch. He tricks him to get his tools, and then this is the scene that was kind of like you kind of feel bad for Dexter. He wicks the table, and it crushes his hand, and you hear the crunch of his hand. That was like, ooh, that was kind of brutal. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, that scene right there was definitely brutal and everything, and also too, it was that made me really clench up because I'm actually hearing the impact of his hand breaking, and then to let his own self go, free, and then of course going after Skinner, the way he went after Skinner was just awesome. But I'm letting you describe that scene, but you were right though. When it comes down to that scene alone with the sound effects for him breaking his hand,
and him,
it's just great, and him screaming.
Yeah,
that was bloody murder. To be honest with you.
So Dexter gets out and he's having a fight with the Skinner. Skinner pulls out a knife and you hear him cut Dexter's hand. You see blood. We'll get to that in a minute. There's some foreshadowing with that later on. So anyway, Dexter, he gets him good. He snaps his neck and you hear the crunch of the neck. And Deb back in the police station figures out where the Sphinx is. So they arrive right when Dexter snaps the neck. We'll talk about a close call. And there's going to be a lot of close calls later on as we progress for the show. And then all of a sudden, Dexter chucks him. And all of a sudden, you see the cop car drive up. The body gets thrown right on the street, like right on the ground. You see the cop run over the body of the Skinner of George Washington. That's so weird saying that.
George died again.
And Dexter escapes right in the nick of time.
My question about this though, right? I do have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Okay. So to me, he could have easily done that as self-defense. He didn't really have to escape at the nick of time. Because if you think about it, it's self-defense. He got kidnapped.
Yeah.
And also, too, I understand they would actually ask him what would be the motive to kidnap him. But still, you could probably pin that on Miguel.
Yeah.
Because of the confrontations that they had and say, hey, look, we had Miguel and I had a confrontation and everything over certain with our friendship and everything. And it caused him to put a hit out on me.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's what happened. That's one thing that I have maybe a little bit of an issue with, because he could have actually killed the Skinner and also went under self-defense. But then although they would probably wonder, okay, how was Dexter able to do this? Because Dexter's not the type to break anybody's neck.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, when you're filled with adrenaline, you can do pretty much anything. But that's just my line of thinking. But,
Yeah, so, and then anyway, Dexter, he gets out, he escapes, and then Sylvia shows up back and lets Rita know Dexter's okay. He hurt his hand, he fell down some stairs, which is the iconic, oh, how'd you break your arm? And you see Dexter in a cast, and then he shows up, not dressed, and he sees the bride, and that's a no-no because it's bad luck. Knowing what we know, it kind of makes sense. But there's also some foreshadowing later on. So anyway, Dexter shows up, says, "I'm sorry, I'm okay." I'm that, and then they have the wedding.
And I'll get into the foreshadowing thing.
Okay, they have the wedding. Everybody's there. It's all happy for Dexter. Everybody's high fiving him, and then they have the dance. And John, take it over with the foreshadowing.
Okay, so. The foreshadowing is this. As he's dancing with his wife, as he's dancing with Rita, there's a drop of blood that winds up going down his arm from his arm being badly injured from the fight with Skinner and him breaking his own arm. And so the blood trails down off his arm and onto Rita's dress. And that signifies to me, and also to Charlie as well, I believe, that is basically anything that happens in the next season, someone's going to die. But not only is someone going to die, but because of the things that he does and chooses, each thing has a consequence behind it. basically the blood is on his hands, basically, of the repercussions that he has. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking though, is this. Basically what winds up happening is the blood is on his hands on anything that he does within the next season because of the events that happens there. And I'm not going to go into spoiler territory for those of you who hasn't seen the fourth season or anything like that, but there is a huge foreshadowing within the fourth season because, like I said, there's blood on Dexter's hands.
Yeah. And it's definitely not for the faint of heart. I will say, if you watch season 4, this kill, it's not for the faint of heart.
No.
This kill is so brutal. It made the cast like not well for a few days because this scene is shocking. It's brutal. It's intense. It's like your eyes are gonna be like
glued to the set.
Glued, because this hasn't happened in a long time in terms of because now we're like, oh, well, we had Game of Thrones with the Red Wedding, or we had somebody getting brutally like somebody getting head chopped off. You can say that's brutal, but you can't really say that because Dexter did it first. Dexter did it before Game of Thrones even existed. So Red Wedding, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Also, too, The Sopranos did it though too. Before Dexter, because not in this kind of way, but they've done other stuff with other whackings and things like that. And especially when you look at the last season when Bobby gets killed in the train store.
Okay,
that scene is just brutal because there's a little bit of a foreshadowing, and I know that you haven't seen The Sopranos, or have you?
I have. I've seen it all. It's just been a long time since I've seen it. I know what happens.
Okay. So basically, Bobby winds up saying, you probably don't even hear the gunshots whenever it happens. And the guy gets shot over 10 times and everything. And that scene alone, he dies at the train store, a place that he loves to go to. And I feel like that scene compares to Rita a little bit. And also, too, Sons of Anarchy, but even though this was way before Sons of Anarchy in the first place. So yeah, this is definitely one of those scenes that I can compare The Sopranos with this scene.
Yeah. So we're not going to get into it. We'll get into season 4, and season 4 is probably the best season out of this whole show, where we will be covering that next. And I'm excited because I've seen bits and pieces of 4, but I know what happens in it because there's a lot going on in 4.
Right.
It's the best, and because after this season, the current show writer and writer, he leaves. Show gets to hear 4.
It starts going down on a downward spiral.
Then it's just done it's like there's no up. It's just a downward nose dive, and there's no parachute.
Nope.
And it doesn't stop, and that's a bummer because the show and it ends on an intense note, and we'll get into that. It's we're warning you, it's a brutal scene. I'm not sugarcoating it. It's brutal. If you can't deal with blood or anything, don't watch it. Don't watch what our reaction to it. But if you're not keen, if you can't digest it, I would definitely avoid watching it because it's an intense ending sequence for first season.
Definitely. So, guys, that's gonna do it for tonight for our season 3 of Dexter.
Much better season 2.
Yes, I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode because we enjoyed doing this after show. So go on ahead, hit that like button, hit that share button. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, to go on ahead and follow us on Facebook at Movie Lovers TV Lovers United over there. And also to underneath the same brand name on Instagram and on Pinterest as well. Also to get an audio-only podcast wherever you guys get your podcast from, go on ahead, go to Good Pods and everything. Download that Good Pods app like I mentioned before in all the other episodes, because Good Pods is actually a great app if you're a podcaster or if you like listening to podcasts. Go on ahead, give us a 5-star rating. Tell us what you liked about our show. Also, too, don't forget to go on ahead and donate towards St. Jude's. All the proceeds go over to the Cincy's and everything, all the proceeds go over to St. Jude's. Also, too, this is also something that Tamara and I are doing from Two Blur Girls. So go on ahead, get yourself a Cincy. Go on ahead, donate to St. Jude's Hospital. Also, too, tomorrow night, Charlie and I are actually going to do a show tomorrow night. We'll keep everyone glued in on what that's going to be for tomorrow night. So go on ahead, 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific Time is the time that you can go on ahead and catch our show. And then, of course, if you're a sponsor and would like to get in touch with us, just go on ahead, email me at movieloversnight@gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on Twitter at @movieloversunit. And then, also, too, I'm going to be on Schmoes of the Nords channel on Saturday at 3 o'clock Central Time, 1 o'clock Pacific Time, 4 o'clock Eastern, doing Mount Schmodown. So if you're into the movie Trivia Schmodown, go in and check us out. Also, too, check out John H. Mudgett's book, Crazy Is as Crazy Does. He turned that whole entire Forrest Gump line and everything around, where it's like life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So crazy is as crazy does, or stupid is as stupid does. So always until next time, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. I can't wait to do this again, and bye-bye.